structure, a wall-like structure, which passes the food into small intestine. Little by little amount will pass into the small intestine. Now the food reaches the small intestine. Small intestine is the largest part of the total alimentary canal. Small intestine is tightly packed in a compact, Small intestine is tightly packed in a compact space. So the space is less, but it is very large structure. But the lumen of this is small. Lumen means small intestine is a tube-like structure, right? So the space between inside the tube is hollow or cavity-like. So that space is less when compared to the large intestine. So small intestine is the largest part of the alimentary canal. It is highly coiled, but it is situated in a very compact space. Small intestine is a tightly coiled structure with lumen is smaller than that of large intestine. So lumen is nothing but the cavity or the hollow space inside the tubes of the small intestine. So now, since the food has reached small intestine, it is acidic in medium, right? Because of the gastric acid HCl of the stomach. Now that acidic medium needs to be converted into alkaline medium, that is basic medium. So what helps? The secretions of the liver and pancreas come into account and help to convert the acidic medium of the food into alkaline medium. So what secretions come? From the liver, bile juice comes, and from the pancreas, enzymes come, trypsin and lipase enzymes act here. So these secretions from the liver, the bile juice, helps in converting the acidic medium of stomach into alkaline medium. So how? So now the food is present in the form of carbohydrates, proteins and fats. So all these juices and enzymes act together and break these carbohydrates, proteins and fats into simpler substances or smaller substances. So the bile juice is always stored in the gallbladder. The bile juice and the secretions of the pancreas, that is lipase and trypsin, they are stored in the gallbladder. So the small intestine is divided into three parts: duodenum, jejunum and ileum. Ileum has villi, that is small finger-like projections of the intestine. And the major part of the digestion occurs in duodenum. The major part of the food digestion occurs in small intestine, and in the small intestine, the major part of the digestion occurs in duodenum. So now the food has to be converted into alkaline medium. So secretions from the liver, that is bile juice, comes and acts on the food and helps it convert into alkaline medium. And then secretions of the pancreas, that is lipase and trypsin. So the major part of the digestion occurs in the small intestine, and in the small intestine, mostly in the duodenum, the larger part of the digestion occurs. So now the food has acidic medium, which will be converted into alkaline medium with the help of bile juice, the secretion of the liver. So what other action does the bile juice do? The small intestine has large globules of fat. So this bile juice helps in conversion of those small globules, those large globules into smaller globules of fat. That is known as emulsification of fats. So large globules of fat converted into small globules with the help of secretion of the liver, that is bile juice, and also pancreatic secretions help in breaking down of larger globules of fat into smaller globules, that is emulsification of fats occur with the help of bile juice. And then pancreas secrete trypsin, which helps in breaking down of proteins, and pancreas also secrete lipase, which helps in breaking down of fats. So how are substances broken down now? Proteins are broken down into amino acids, fats are broken down into fatty globules, and carbohydrates is broken down into sugars, sucrose, etc. So that is how major part of the digestion takes place in the small intestine. And after small intestine, the food moves into the larger intestine. The lumen of the larger intestine is bigger than the small intestine. That means the space inside the tubes. Large intestine is also tubular, highly coiled, compact, but lumen of the large intestine, the space inside the tubes, is larger here, but the size is smaller than the small intestine. That is what you need to remember. Then Further digestion of the food occurs in large intestine along with some water, and absorption of the food takes place. And then after large intestine, the undigested food goes into the rectum and anus. So you have understood, right? Liver secretes bile juice and helps in further digestion of food in the small intestine. Pancreas secrete trypsin, which break down protein into amino acids, and they secrete lipase, which converts fat into smaller particles, that is fatty acids or fat globules, and carbohydrates are converted into sugars. And gallbladder is the site where bile juice is secreted. So from the large intestine, the further digestion of the food occurs and the absorption of the food occurs because they are villi, finger-like projections in the large intestine. Finger-like projections in the large intestine. Next, life process is respiration. So what is the definition of respiration? The process by which a living being utilizes the food to get energy is called respiration. So the food we eat is utilized to get the energy to do our day-to-day activities by a process called respiration. Respiration is an oxidation reaction. Respiration is actually a chemical reaction in which carbohydrate is oxidized to produce energy. Carbohydrate is oxidized to produce energy. So respiration is a chemical reaction. So mitochondria is the site of respiration. So in a cell, mitochondria is a cell organelle, right? And it is present in eukaryotic cells. Cells which has cell membrane. It is cell membrane bound. What is eukaryotic cell? In which the cell membrane is in which the nucleus is cell membrane bound. So mitochondria is a cell organelle present in eukaryotic cell. So mitochondria is the site of respiration, and energy is released is stored in the form of ATP. So the energy released in this respiration reaction is stored in the form of ATP. ATP means adenosine triphosphate. So again, ATP is stored in the mitochondria and used as per the need. There are two steps in respiration. The first step is breaking down of glucose into pyruvate or pyruvic acid. Glucose is broken down into pyruvate. Glucose is the result of the nutrition process. You remember, no? Carbohydrate is being broken down into, carbon is broken down into carbohydrate. Glucose is the result of the process of nutrition. You remember, right? Carbohydrate is broken down into glucose in the digestion process in the small intestine. So here the glucose is further broken down into pyruvate, and this step happens in the cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is also a cell organelle. The glucose molecule is broken down into pyruvic acid. Glucose is converted into pyruvic acid. Glucose, which we got from the digestion, that is broken down into pyruvic acid. Glucose is made up of 6 carbon atoms, and pyruvic acid is made up of 3 carbon atoms. So glucose is converted into pyruvic acid. Glucose is made up of 6 carbon atoms. Pyruvate is made up of 3 carbon atoms. So that is first step. In second step, since the glucose is converted to pyruvate or pyruvic acid, let's see what happens to pyruvic acid. Further breakdown of the pyruvic acid takes place here in the mitochondria. So the pyruvic acid form further breaks down, and molecules formed depend on the type of respiration. It breaks down and forms new molecules. Which type of molecules form will depend on the type of respiration. What are the types of respiration? Aerobic or anaerobic. That means in the presence of oxygen or in the absence of oxygen. So the fate of pyruvic acid, what will happen? Pyruvic acid breaks down into further molecules depending on the type of respiration. So what are the types of respiration? Aerobic and anaerobic. So further breakdown of pyruvic acid takes place in mitochondria, and molecules formed depend on the type of respiration in the organism. So what is aerobic respiration? Aerobic respiration is that type of respiration which happens in the presence of oxygen. The pyruvic acid is converted into carbon dioxide. So in aerobic respiration, it happens in the presence of oxygen, and then the pyruvate or the pyruvic acid is converted into carbon dioxide. Energy is released and water molecule is formed. So the end product is energy, ATP plus water. Then moving on to anaerobic respiration. This type of respiration happens in the absence of oxygen. Pyruvic acid is converted into ethyl alcohol and lactic acid. In aerobic respiration, pyruvic acid is converted into carbon dioxide. In anaerobic respiration, pyruvic acid is converted into ethyl alcohol or lactic acid. Then what happens? This lactic acid formed in some microbes as well as in muscle cells. So this lactic acid is formed in our human body muscle cells as well as microbes. So which microbes? So the lactic acid is the result of anaerobic respiration. The lactic acid will be formed in our human muscle cells as well as the microorganisms. Then what is the fate of ethyl alcohol? Ethyl alcohol is formed in anaerobic respiration in microbes like yeast and bacteria. In yeast and bacteria, the end product is ethyl alcohol. In few microbes and human beings, the end product is lactic acid. So let's see the reaction, chemical reaction of this respiration.